When we think of the sun, we see this giant star at the center of everything, right? But what if it's more than that? What if it's also a powerful symbol for finding our own place, our own purpose? That's what we're diving into today, exploring the sun not just as a cosmic engine, but as a deep psychological archetype that can help define our own unique spot in the universe. Okay, let's start with a big number, 700 million. What do you think that is? It's the number of tons of hydrogen our sun burns, not in a year, not in a day, but every single second. It's just mind-boggling. And this incredible process, this constant nuclear fusion, is literally the engine of our world. So you see, the sun takes in 700 million tons of hydrogen, and it spits out 695 million tons of helium. Now, you might be thinking, wait, what happened to the other 5 million tons? Well, that's not a mistake. It gets converted into pure energy. And that energy, that's what powers all life on Earth. Everything. But that amazing scientific story is really only half the picture. To really get the sun's power, we need to shift gears a little bit, from science to myth. Because there's this ancient thread that connects the very elements of the cosmos to the symbols deep inside our own mind. So we just saw that helium is what the sun makes, right? It's a fundamental element forged right in the heart of our star. And scientifically, you could say, well, that's the end of the story. But symbolically, oh, it's just the beginning. Which, of course, makes you wonder, why do we call it helium? I mean, that name wasn't just pulled out of thin air. It was chosen for a very specific reason, one that builds this incredible bridge between a science lab and an ancient legend. Okay, check this out. This is where it all clicks together. The scientific element helium gets its name from Helios, the Greek god of the sun, and a key symbol for Helios, the white horse. And where do we see that same white horse? It's the central figure on the sun card in the tarot deck. It's a straight line connecting nuclear fusion directly to ancient myth. How cool is that? And what this shows us so beautifully is that these two different ways of knowing the world are actually pointing to the exact same idea. It doesn't matter if you're looking through a telescope or at a deck of cards. The message is identical. The sun is the ultimate life-giving source. So this shared understanding brings us to the real heart of our conversation today, the solar archetype. Or maybe a better way to put it is the archetype of absolute necessity. Let's break down what that actually means. So first off, what even is an archetype? Well, think of it like a universal symbol or a pattern that we all just get instinctively. It's like a primal image that lives in our collective consciousness, like the hero, the mother, or in this case, the sun. So what is the solar archetype? Well, at its core, it's this idea, the absolute demand for one's role for those around them. It's not about being liked or wanted. It goes way deeper. It's about being fundamentally required. And that's the key right there. Just like our physical sun, the energy of this archetype isn't just something that's nice to have. No, it is indispensable. The system around it, whether that's a family, a company, a whole community, it simply can't exist without it. Okay, so this is a huge cosmic idea. How do we bring it down to Earth? Let's talk about what this archetype looks like, not in the stars, but inside of us, in our own indispensable roles. So what does it actually look like in a real person? How do you spot someone who's embodying this solar archetype? What does it feel like when someone becomes that gravitational center of their own world? Well, someone living this has a purpose that's so clear everyone can see it. They don't need to fight for a spotlight because their very function makes them noticeable. They're just perceived as necessary. There's this feeling that, of course, they are the one for that role. It just feels like the most natural thing in the world. To put it really simply, it's that powerful moment when there's this unspoken collective understanding in the room. Everyone just knows why it has to be you and no one else. Your role is uniquely and absolutely yours. And that brings us to the final and I think the most important question. After looking at the science, the myth, the psychology, the real journey is an inward one. So, in your work, in your life, in your community, what makes you indispensable? What's the unique energy that only you can bring to the world?